Hey y'all, Jamie here. Proud 55-year-old trans woman from New Orleans. So, where last I left off, well, I was 11 years old and I had been approached by a man at the swimming pool who had tried to molest me. And I am, unfortunately, at 11, not my first rodeo at the sexual abuse, you know, with the sexual abuse stuff. But I went home, ran home, told my mother, her boyfriend Harry, and his friend George immediately what had happened because I thought, it was a stranger. Tell the adults, right? Yeah. They turned it around on me and blamed me totally. It was apparently my fault because I was so feminine and I brought this attention upon myself because I acted like a little girl. And this was coming from Harry, her boyfriend. George was always one to try to crack jokes, and he tried to crack some sick jokes about because I had said it was a Spanish guy at the pool, and he was just trying to give you his Mexican chili foot long hot dog to an 11-year-old. Yeah. So those jokes were made. My mother was like, "What were you doing? What did you do?" Like, total victim blaming, total and utter victim blaming. And around this time when that summer when I moved in with George and my mom and Harry in Houston, before the school year even started, I was introduced to the fact that Harry belonged to the evangelical church. See, I was brought up Roman Catholic. My mother was brought up Roman Catholic, but my mother, in her endless pursuits to please a man, decided she was going to become evangelical too. And so, yeah, I was expected to also become evangelical and give my heart to Jesus and be born again. So they started taking me, and I know, look, taking kids to church in and of itself should not be construed as an evil thing. But have you been to an evangelical church? If you haven't, darling, go once. Go once. Escape before they trap you and throw rattlesnakes at you, but wrong church, but I'm being a smart ass. But yeah, run after the first time you see it. And if you are evangelical, I'm sorry. Um, but yeah, so they started taking me to a church in Houston called the Evangelical. Wait, what was it? The Evangelical Temple. Duh. It was the Evangelical Temple in Houston. And so we started going there, and Harry helped my mother get a little apartment that was across the street from the school I was going to start, when school started. And so things were, going along, and I was getting a lot of bad comments about my behavior and how sissified I was. Harry was starting to make comments about, that my father had obviously been too big of a pussy to make a man out of me. And so he was going to. And that, the Lord would want the adults in my life to mold me into the proper young man I should be. Yeah. And things like he was going to put hair on my chest. Always said he was going to put hair on my chest. And he, things of that nature. Just you get the idea. Just an all around, one of those. And so the school year starts. I joined the orchestra, which I loved, adored. I was 4'10". Okay, 4'10". And I chose the bass, the tall, 6 foot tall bass to play. Yes. I don't know what I was trying to prove, but yeah. And I, started participating in school and stuff. And I tried to get into the swing of things. I begged my mother to let me have a pet rabbit, and she did. We kept it on the balcony, and I was playing in the orchestra, and there was a school dance early in the year that I went to, my mom let me go to. And, I discovered drugs. I got high for the first time. I was actually in orchestra class, And a guy next to me, the kid next to me, said, "Hey, you want to get high?" I didn't know what the fuck he was talking. I mean, I kind of knew what he was talking about, but not really, really. And I was like, "Sure, yeah, why not?" You know. He said, "Here, chew this." Old boy gave me a button of peyote. Mm, yeah, 11 years old, and he gave me peyote in school. I got so high. I got so high and tripped balls at school. And then I came home, and my mother's boyfriend, Harry, caught me there, high. And Harry proceeded to, for the first time since I had known him, beat the fuck out of me. Yeah. I don't mean spank me. I don't mean reprimand me. I don't mean spare the rod, spoil the child, people. I mean, he was beating the fuck out of me. And so I broke free and I ran. And I ran with all my little heart for over a mile to the nearest mall, where I called the runaway hotline. Yeah, there was a kid's runaway hotline. And I told them my situation. I told them he was beating me, told them everything. And the lady said, "How old are you?" I said, 11. She said, "Get off this goddamn phone and take your ass home. What the hell's wrong with you, child?" On a hotline. And if y'all want to know what happens next, y'all know the routine. Be here tomorrow and I will too. I love you all. I love you all for watching, and I love you for the comments. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.